All right, Shalom. I'd like to start up saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Harikak Radash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and double honors to our elder apostle as well, and her one bunny Yasha Allah down here in the Lions Den camp. Salutations to the Arkham that are pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth, and peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, I'm Khanat to bunny Yasha Allah from the Lions Den and Yasha Allah camp, and this is another Lions Den news and prophecy. All right, it's the second Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All right, so let me go to this real quick. All right, so I was supposed to do this lesson last week, but I ended up doing a different lesson by accident. Um, but basically, I think the one I did last week dealing with this was talking about how Congress has no faith in Trump's war that he's fighting with Iran, and the fact that they're asking for more money, but the Congress is asking for a definitive plan to end the war, right? But this article right here, it says Trump pausing Iran attack shows U.S. military power is not enough on its own. So that's yeah. So United States alone is not going to be able to beat little bitty Iran. That's how much power the Strait of Hormuz is giving them. See that? That's let the weak say that I am strong, right? And so look at this billboard. This is a billboard over there in Iran, and it says, "A billboard in Tehran on Monday, 27th July. Iran's hold on the Strait of Hormuz has it has given it an advantage over the United States." Right? So those you see all them hands around the neck of Trump and that billboard. That's the chokehold that Iran has on the United States. That's the leverage that they have. The elder was doing lessons on that about that from the beginning. All right. So the article says, has Iran won a war it didn't start against the United States? It is not a victory in any conventional military sense. About 3,500 Iranians have been reported unalived, and the U.S.-led bombings has caused anywhere between 150 to 270 billion of damage. Yet Donald Trump's decisions to pause rather than intensify the 13-night summer bombing campaign in effect represents a degree of recognitions recognitions that the United States cannot achieve its stated goals by military power alone. Yeah, because like while you trying to fight military, Iran has the leverage on the economical front side, halting 20% of the global trade, affecting the global market, affecting gas everywhere, affecting um, prices on a lot of the goods that come through the straits. You see that? It says Iran's initial standard for victory was simply to survive, said H.A. Heller, a Middle East expert with the Royal United Services Institute. If anything, that has been raised. The regime has demonstrated it's not going anywhere, and Tehran has changed the calculus of the Strait of Hormuz. The past 5 months are a clear demonstration of how an asymmetric conflict can flip the battles. All Iran, helped by its extensive and mountainous ge- geography, has needed to do is maintain enough of a missile and drone capability to scare merchant shipping from use of the Strait of Hormuz. It's a low bar Iran's military is still clearing. All right. Two tankers were attacked sailing north of Oman last week. One of them caught fire in the engine room and had to be evacuated before being towed to Oman. One of a handful of serious attacks on merchant shipping that took place during the nearly 2 week July escalation of fighting. Right. In the beginning of July, I did a it was either towards the end of June or beginning of July, I did a lesson, and the lesson was talking about how um Iran is baiting the United States and escalating the war to escalate the war, right? Trying to bait it to get it hot and heavy, you know. It says the U.S. meanwhile has spent at least 38 billion and used more than 1,000 Tomahawk and 1,000 Jassim 2.6 million cruise missiles, according to the estimates by CSIS. It's way more than because it was at the 2 months in the war. It was at 35 billion. You know, it says to bomb targets in Iran and a third and a quarter of total stockpiles. The Tomahawks most cost up to 3.6 million each. Might not be replaced until 2021, 2031. It's lucky. All right. So so basically saying the United States is going to need some help. The United States is going to. I think Saudi Arabia is starting to get involved. Um, yeah, but it's going to need some help, man. And and if you think about it, Iran hasn't even gotten. They're still using old mis war inventory. They haven't even got to the meat and potatoes and stuff that they possess. They're using like drones and stuff like that. They haven't even shot off any real missiles, you know. And they could also already have nukes because I think they may have gotten allegedly may have gotten the technology to simulate. They got the parts like the other side of this video. They got the parts. They just need to put them together, you know. But all this is leading, Esau and Babylon to its own demise, man. You know. Let's see some more in this article. All right. It is surprising that the U.S. has allowed key munitions to be ran down at such speed. On Monday, Trump tried to part the blame Ukraine, arguing that so much was given to Kyiv in military aid, though the reality is that Ukraine was never given long-range cruise missiles, only Patriot air defense systems. Patriot missile interceptors were more heavy depleted by 1,000 or so, or 50% of the total U.S. stockpile, raising questions as to how well the U.S. can continue to defend its bases in the Gulf. Because I think a base in Jordan got attacked. A U.S. base in Jordan got attacked. All right, it says more were used during the 38 days of heavy fighting in the spring than the 600 or so that Ukraine has said it had received during four during during 4 years of war. So damn. So they just running through munitions, and Iran still is not budging. It says a fresh escalation in the Red Sea by the Houthis, Iran's allies in Yemen, complicates the picture further. The rebel group kept out of the first phase of the U.S. Iran war in the spring, but as Saudi Arabia seeks to redirect oil traffic through the Red Sea, they have stepped up attacks targeting a refinery in Saudi city of Jazan on Saturday. It says not this Saturday just passed, but the Saturday before that. It says the U.S. stated Central War aim, meanwhile, may have repeatedly shifted, but it has always been maximalist. Whether it has regime change, as demonstrated by the killing of Ali Khamenei, destroying Iran's entire missile program, or as most frequently stated, preventing the country from having a nuclear weapon. Yet the U.S. has no means of enforcing this level of demand without committing ground forces in numbers to occupy. Oh man, and it was spoken about that. It was spoken about that um, early in the war that he got some ground forces over there, but they ain't put no boots on the ground yet. I want to say there's around like 20,000 that they put over there for a special mission because they were gonna try to sneak in and try to grab whoever the Ayatollah was, like how they did with Venezuela or something along those lines. They were trying to, it was setting them up the coast of somewhere up. It's like an island over there in the Strait of Hormuz, to protect something or another. But yeah. All right. So it said the U.S. Yet the U.S. has no means of enforcing this level of demand without committing ground forces in numbers to occupy Tehran, an unlikely move that the United States has not shown signs of preparing for. That's a lie because they did because they were contemplating whether they were going to put boots on the ground, and that's when Iran said bring them on. It said Donald Trump's previous threats to bomb Iranian power plants to try to force the regime's uh, capitalization has raised concerns they would um, they would amount the war to war crimes, and he dropped them in April and again last week. It says, I don't think the Iranians can be bombed into accepting U.S. terms, said Peter Rixet, a former UK national security advisor. But that's the only strategy that Trump has. Throw some more missiles at them. Until the U.S. accepts that it can't get its way by bombing, Iran has effective leverage. Tehran can absorb the pain, and they know they can close the strait with the economic impact it has on the United States. It says um, the resulting situation is what Ricketts calls an escalation dominance that he says favors Iran. See, and that article that I did on the lesson that at the beginning of July that Iran is provoking the United States to escalation. See that? What is this doing? Like, so they're gonna run out of munitions. You forget they're involved with the conflict in which hasn't been talked about that much, but over there dealing with China and Taiwan. They're involved in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, and they're involved in this conflict. Now you see, now it started with Israel and Iran, but you see, Israel's took the back seat, and the only thing Israel will do, just like how the scripture says, the least of them shall draw them out. So these smaller countries are drawing America into the hot war. So now that America looks around, it's just them. It's just them. So now he ain't got no strategy. You can't just throw missiles and money at them because now they can't get any more money because Congress said they need a definitive plan in order for them to sign off a bill to get more money to fight this war. So Basically, it's leading them to their own demise. It's Isaiah 47:1. It says, Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. Fuck you. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. See, and that's the point. The Lord is bringing this place down to the dust, place of confusion. And you can see it right now. They're confused on how they can deal with this whole Strait of Hormuz situation, man. You know? So there we have it. The United States alone is not going to be able to, it's not going to be enough power to stop Iran, a little small country like Iran. That's say, let's let the weak say that I'm strong. Lord, will this lesson to edify and to serve this purpose for the hope of elect, the ones who truly believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. With that, I'd like to say, call Halayim, La Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Harikak Wadash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles, the great millstone. Double honor to our elder apostles as well. Her one by Yasha, all down here, the lines in camp. Salutations to the icon that are pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. Shalom.